And welcome back to another edition, boy, on hiatus, Steel Radio. Man, we took a week off, didn't we, boys? I think I got to take the hit for that, along with the architect Ed Hellier and Slick Mick Karch. I'm Pete Waggoner, as we've got plenty to talk about. I've got an upcoming card in November. That thing is taking shape. We're going to take a look at a couple of moments back on the past card, and maybe Mick will talk a little bit about some of your posts you had on Facebook, or don't you want to go there?
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay, depends upon your mood.
That's right.
Ed, let's take a look back first at the card that occurred on September 22nd. I believe that was, 2 weeks ago?
Yes. Yeah. It was, the show was good. You know, I was very happy with the results. I was, again, happy with the talent. The crowd was down a little bit, which was my fault. You know, I'm the one that takes responsibility for that. But it's always great to be in the West St. Paul Armory. And I think what really capped off the night is when Colt Cabana, at the end of his match, stood up, talked about the history in the West St. Paul Armory, talked about his match with Punk, taking the suplex off the pop machine, and how it is so near and dear to him, and the piece of history that we represent in the West St. Paul Armory that, people will be talking about 20, 30 years from now.
Well, I had turned off our lovely TriCaster Studio TC350. I was starting to power down and get the cords going, and all of a sudden it's like, oop, wait, we had to power this thing back up. And so we came into that a couple of sentences in after the fact, but that was completely a surprise to all of us. And, it was one of those things, Mick, where, you could see him saying, hey, you know what, independent wrestling, professional wrestling, this is where it's at. From that perspective, this West St. Paul Armory is where it's at. You could really hear that message loud and clear.
Unsolicited remarks from Colt Cabana. And that's the great part about it. He meant every word he said.
Yep.
He was with us at the very beginning, and he was talking about that suplex off the top of the pop machine and some of the matches in West St. Paul. Now, here's a guy who has made his name on the independent scene. And this is a well-known commodity in Colt Cabana. This isn't just some run-of-the-mill guy. So he knows what he's talking about when he's talking about independent wrestling. You could feel the passion. And, I just kind of instinctively gave him a standing ovation at that point. I popped up from my chair, and it was really kind of an emotional moment, thinking, okay, it's been 12, 13 years, since SDW was, back in its glory days. And here's a guy who has won the NWA championship, coming back with this ringing endorsement for us and independent wrestling in general, and it was really great, a great moment.
For me, this is card number 3 that I've been a part of since my joining the crew here since the April show. I really liked from match 1 to match 6 everything that occurred in West St. Paul. I thought they were all great. You could point to one where you could say, wow, that this was really good in this area. I thought they were just all unbelievable.
I was really impressed with the guys that came in from Canada.
That's what I was getting to.
And I got to tell you, of everybody that was on
nothing
that
like
show,
old-fashioned Canadian heat.
Old-fashioned Canadian heat. And AJ Sanchez, I tell you what, from the minute he got into the ring, I hadn't seen too much of him before. But you talk about a guy who had the crowd in the palm of his hand
from the second he walked out of that drape.
I thought he was so good. I talked to him probably a week ago about coming in on the 24th. He said, I'd love to come up there, but I just got booked in Mexico. He's going down there for a month.
He'll be back. It's a shame.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, to get a shot down at AAA,
absolutely,
we're not talking about the Mexican Indies.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
good
Conan
stuff.
got him booked down there. So
he did an incredible job with. I thought the anthem thing was outstanding.
Yeah, that was excellent.
He the whoa, you're not done yet. And then toots. He said en français, toots. He threw the toots out there.
Toots.
Yeah, it was great, and she even did a great job when she went into the French version.
Oh, she
did it, but she did an in-your-face head snap right at him. Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah.
So I thought that was
she's
very, very good.
Bilingual, right?
Stephanie?
Yeah.
Verone? No, she just learned specific.
I thought she spoke French.
No.
Oh.
Hell no.
But she could have fooled us.
She did a great job singing it.
She actually had a French-speaking person teach her that part of the anthem for that very reason.
Wow.
It was very impressive. You're talking about committed to SDW.
Talk about what's going on behind the curtain. Even the bookers.
Stop.
Didn't
I thought you were going to another direction because let's face the fact,
yet.
very attractive Stephanie Verone. But speaking of that, I thought the handicap match. I loved it when Jeremy went with the Bobby Heenan ape suit and the red tights. I mean, it couldn't have gotten better than that. And then when he was pissed and he took the he went with the strap down. And then he got, he got small packaged or
He got small
cradled?
packaged, and you made a comment, you've talked about
He probably
small
has a small
before,
package.
But, I was noticing that,
that was a junk squad's finishing.
That's right. I don't think Jeremy gets a lot of ring time, that physique was just,
a little soft.
A little untoned.
He made me look like I was just complete tip-top shape. I was feeling pretty good about myself.
But it was, hey, let's talk about Rennie D. Walking out on his
what was that all about?
I have no idea, but he left Ben Saylor high and dry, and all of a sudden we got Rennie D and Ben Saylor one-on-one, head-to-head, the 24th of November, and I think that's going to be a showstopper.
Very similar styles. I think could be all over the gym. We're going to be in the gym, right, at South St. Paul?
South St. Paul High School. We'll get more into it.
Good
so
stuff.
that was a great one, too. I thought Danny Duggan was very, very good against Sanchez.
That match was terrific.
He had the polite applause when he scraped himself off the mat and walked out. The knowledgeable fans of the West St. Paul Armory know they saw a good one between those two guys. And he had told me afterwards, he said, I heard it, and it meant a lot. I was really really flattered to hear that. It meant a lot to him and to the fans. They know they saw a terrific piece of work. The interesting thing was Zach Mercury. First of all, we'll get that interview up for you. What a job on the mic.
Oh, that promo?
Yeah.
Just
he is so
it's a good one.
You know what?
Fantastic.
We got to get it up there, though.
Yeah, it's all slow.
It's all ready to go,
slow drip.
Slow drip. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
It's like an IV. So IV of wrestling product.
Okay.
But his match against because I had asked you, Mick, going in with Paradise, I said, what are the big trees going to bring us? And you weren't really sure.
I wasn't sure, but I don't know. I've been watching Mitch work for about 10 years, and I don't remember anybody taking it to Mitch Paradise the way Zach Mercury did. I mean, Mitch at the end, comes out on top, but Mercury, boy, for 90% of that match, he was just pounding the hell out of Mitch Paradise. And Ed and I, were kind of shaking our heads. We'd never seen that before.
No, and that's probably not customary for Mitch.
No.
I mean, he's always looking down at his opponent.
Right. He was looking up at this guy.
Yeah. Mercury, I think, had 2-3 inches on him.
Well, in the world of the big man, I'm surprised he's I thought he was pretty darn good in there.
Very, very good. And, while we're talking about Mitch, let's kind of leapfrog ahead to Mitch's opponent on the 24th of November, talking about Arya Daivari, who, of course, lost to Colt Cabana, but not by much. I'm telling you, just a move here or there, and we would have had a major upset. But the Daivaris, not only Arya, but Sean Daivari, they've been in the news this past week.
Well,
TMZ, right?
Right. I was heading out of town, going to work, and I get a text, have you seen the story on TMZ about Sean Daivari? And I hadn't, so, I looked it up, and sure enough, there's a picture of Sean on the TMZ page. Apparently, he's on the light rail train going to the airport. And there was some guy on there that was, possibly snorting bath salts or whatever it is they do these days.
He got a hold of Mr. Kabuki's product.
Yeah.
That's correct.
He's
mysterious green mist.
And the first thing this guy does on a, train full of people, he starts yelling racial epithets. And people are just kind of looking around. You know how when somebody starts acting crazy in a crowd, everybody gets quiet and nobody wants to do anything. And next thing you know, he's threatening people. He's telling them, I'm going to kill you. And now people are rushing for the emergency call button on the train. They're pushing those, and guess what happens? Nothing.
Nothing.
You mean MTC's finest weren't there?
Yeah, right.
Jeez.
And so...
Dirty bomb, the whole thing.
This guy starts to get, a little more vocal. And by now, Daivari's had enough. And he goes face-to-face to the guy, spins him around, puts him in a bare-naked chokehold, pulls him down the floor of the train car. Now he's got him in a chokehold, and then he throws in a scissors.
Was it a rear naked?
Rear naked.
Okay.
Rear naked chokehold.
Did you get that, Steph?
Rear naked
I was thinking
chokehold.
Stephanie Barone.
Yeah.
I was thinking Stephanie Barone, sorry.
And then he's got this hold on the guy for close to a minute before the next stop. So they get to the next stop, doors open, Daivari drags him out by his pants, tosses him out on the platform.
Old school.
And there goes the train down the road.
Now you would.
Now the key thing is you missed the part about what happened to the.
Oh yeah. Okay. So they talked to a witness, and the eyewitness said that Davari choked this guy so hard that the bad guy wet himself.
Isn't that
unreal?
Something?
That's awesome.
And then what did Davari say to you when you texted him?
Well, I sent him a text, and I said,
"This is great."
I said, hey, I read about you in TMZ, and I said I damn near wet my pants laughing, about the fact that this guy that you choked out actually did wet his pants. And Davari's response was, well, sometimes you just got to go. And so
Wow.
I got the text right here. Then I went back and I said, this is obviously your booking fee can go up now because of this publicity.
Well, and I got to say, finally, some good publicity for professional wrestling in general.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean. Because the very same week, apparently some goofball wrestler on the independent scene.
Oh, good God.
When one of his spots...
Adam Gooch is his name.
Adam Gooch.
Yeah.
When one of his spots didn't go as planned, punched apparently a handicapped, a mentally handicapped person.
Bust him wide open.
Some kid in the front row got mad, and the kid stood up and was kind of jawing with this guy, as heel wrestlers will once in a while. And this Adam Gooch lets go of the haymaker and knocks this kid out, splits his head wide open.
Did you see the picture of the kid?
Yeah, I did. And of course that one was all over the news about the pro wrestling again.
Who is the promotion for? Do we know?
I don't know. I
Somewhere up northeast.
Northwest.
But
Yeah.
you know what? Don't ever book this idiot again. I mean, for crying out loud, it's ridiculous. But
Yeah,
anyway,
he's done. He's finished.
Sean Davari, job well done. Arya Davari, big test in November.
But didn't you call Sean a patriot? What did he say?
Oh, yeah, I said, Sean, you're a patriot. He said, no, I'm a terrorist. He's still a heel.
Oh, he's still a heel.
Yeah,
you don't want to kill that.
Yeah,
terrorist.
He's,
But
he's
he
not
can't
looking for the
proclaim
babyface pop over this deal.
No. He did. He
did what he had to do.
Exactly.
Guys, let's take a quick break. We're going to hear from one of our sponsors, the Unbank. We'll be back with more right after this.
We don't need no stinking banks.
The Unbank is not a bank. It's an unbank. Open 7 days a week with convenient hours. The Unbank for cashing all types of checks. Instant cash loans up to $500. Get a MasterCard regardless of credit history. Free money orders. FDIC savings accounts. Fast bill payment. Phone cards. The Unbank, your friendly neighborhood financial center. Get cash on the spot whenever you need it. With over a dozen Twin Cities locations, chances are there's an Unbank open near you.
And we're back. Once again, the Unbank and Merwin's Liquors, your proud sponsors of SteelDomainWrestling.com and, of course, Steel Radio, the Steel Radio Show. This is our 12th full dozen programs that we've put out so far.
Wow.
And all they do is just get worse, right?
We're going to get it right one of these times. We are.
Yeah, we're working to that perfection. Still, what's been your favorite episode?
They're all my favorites.
Well, just give me your best.
Best
moment.
The best moment when Wally Carbo called you a smartass.
That was good.
That was.
I think I got a little bit stopped in my tracks.
You did. No, you know what? This is fun. It's fun and relaxed. We're
great.
keeping everybody informed on what's going on, not only in Steel Domain but in the wrestling world in general. Which is going to segue me to. I want to make a comment about something that Jen Fritz, our erstwhile social media director here at Steel Domain Wrestling.
Erstwhile.
Yeah, apparently somebody, in looking at the ticket prices for the November 24th show in South St. Paul, got a little rankled because the ticket prices are higher than usual.
Went up $3.
Went up $3. Mm-hmm.
Because why?
Because it's a fundraiser, and the school.
They set the ticket price. We don't.
Just
not
like
on
Hopkins
this one.
Hockey set the ticket prices at $50.
Exactly, and you know something?
For the front row.
We could talk about how much you pay when you go to a Raw taping, but that's
Let's call that another topic.
Yeah, but in making this point about the ticket prices and looking at the main event, Mitch Paradise and Arya Davari, he made a comment, which was I believe I'm paraphrasing here, but why would you raise the ticket prices when your main event has two jobbers? Now, let me just say, for those who are not familiar with the world of professional wrestling, the lingo. A jobber in professional wrestling is somebody who
Tony Leone.
Yeah, kind of an enhancement talent, which will make the
Sal Balomo.
Sal Balomo, make the stars look better.
Sodbuster.
Or, somebody who's, kind of an opening bout, curtain jerker, mid-card guy. Okay, here's my response to that. I'm guessing that unless you're watching WWE, everybody else then becomes a jobber.
Correct.
In this person's eyes. That's what I would have to say, because if you've seen Mitch Paradise and Arya Daivari wrestle any number of times here in the Upper Midwest, these are two of the top talents in the Upper Midwest. I don't think that outside of maybe a Dolph Ziggler, I don't think there's too many guys working for WWE right now, especially at his weight level, that are as good or better than Arya Daivari. So if you're going to say that anybody who is not working for one of the big promotions is a jobber, then you've got 65,000 jobbers working in this country. And I defy you, to go down, plunk down that money, that 15, 20 bucks, 25 bucks, whatever it is, and say you weren't entertained by what you're going to see in St. Paul.
And you know what? I have no problem plunking that money down to watch Daivari work. He was unreal against Cabana. I thought the way they worked the crowd and how that match evolved. His match at Hopkins was so good that when those two were done, a lot of people left because they were saying how much.
Yeah.
What
what
could
else
this get any
left?
better? I mean, it was that good. So now I've seen him in 3 matches. All 3 have been unreal. This guy's next level talent. It's almost, it's back to the independent scene discussion that Cole Cabana brought up. To me, it's very equivalent to the people that grew up in the 40s and 50s here before Major League Baseball got here, and they were honored to see those types of players that made it to the big leagues eventually, and this is the exact same thing. And I'll tell you what, dropping a 20 spot is not a problem, 25 for me or anybody else, not money bags, wags here. So I think if you have any issues with that, then don't forget this is about a charity, and you don't have to go.
Yeah. Well, let's talk more about the card. November 24th, South St. Paul High School. It is a benefit for the dance team, okay? Tickets, $25 for some premium seats, 18 general admission. All right, we got that out of the way. One thing we have to emphasize, the start time. It is the Thanksgiving weekend. People thought they wanted to go with an earlier start time. Start time is at 6 p.m. So I'm imagining doors are going to open around 4 or 4:30. So a 6 p.m.
So
start.
this is on the Saturday, correct?
Saturday,
Okay.
November 24th.
Of Thanksgiving weekend.
Of Thanksgiving weekend. We want to start a Thanksgiving weekend tradition. I remember, on Thanksgiving, we told my mom out there in Golden Valley, you better have dinner up and done by 5 o'clock or you'll be sitting here by yourself because we're heading over to the Civic Center.
We did the same.
It was like that every
Christmas
year.
Day night as well. Ooh,
Yeah.
that was a big one in our
those
household.
were huge.
There hasn't been...
You get so fried being around all those family members after a a while. That
Well,
just half of them you can't stand anyway.
Yeah.
So then it's like, God, I gotta get the hell out of here. It's like it's almost like, okay, now we get back to real life here.
You want to go to a place where the brawls mean something.
Yeah.
All
right, here's the rest of the card. We talked about the main event, Mitch Paradise, Arya Daivari.
Wow. Great main event, by the way.
Rennie D, Ben Saylor.
Special grudge match.
Special grudge match as a result of what happened in West St. Paul. We have Miss Natural coming back.
Oh, jeez.
And she will be taking on, returning to Steel Domain Wrestling. The last time she was here, it was a referee, Ann Brookstone.
Outside of Heather Hallberg, I don't think there's a nastier woman with more of an attitude in wrestling than Annie. Wow.
She makes
Natural's
Heather
Hallberg,
seem like a sweetheart.
She does.
Yeah.
I said Natural's not going to get hurt, is she?
I don't know. You might have to put on that phony paramedic suit.
I think
All right, Craven Knight taking on Mikey Wipeout and Rob James. I think the first time I've seen them together, I'm sure they've worked a lot together, Ryan Cruz.
Rob James and Ryan Cruz have worked many, many times, and I tell you, every match
solid match.
Solid, absolutely.
Okay.
This is a great card.
The other thing, too, we're bringing the legends back. AWA Tag Team Champions, the High Flyers, Jim Brunzell and Greg Gagne, and making his second return since we started up again last spring, the Claw Master,
Oh,
Baron von Raschke. And I wouldn't be surprised if Dan Jesser is lurking somewhere around South St. Paul High School that night.
Dan
For whatever
Jesser's
it's worth.
At the end of that,
He's not going to be in the ring,
No.
but he might be lurking.
for those who were at Hopkins that night, and Dan Jesser,
that was a shock.
the man put the bad mouth on the Baron, and the Baron
What do you
squeezed him
expect?
with that claw.
But
His head
what
looked
was
like the
Jesser
peanut.
even doing there?
Jesser, Jesser, he's a tag-along. Jesser is the biggest gate crasher in the world, and he got in the Baron's face, and the Baron squeezed what little brain cells this guy had left.
I thought the whole thing was going to
I
pop
s-
like an egg.
I saw the whole thing get started. You know what happened? And this was off camera. Mrs. Claw was over at the table.
Yes.
She sent him over there.
Oh, no. Wow.
She saw Jesser, he was in the crowd making
Mrs. Claw
remarks.
does not take
Came
any
over by the autograph table, was commenting. And I think she said to the Baron, are you going to do something or just sit here and sign pictures all night?
Mrs. Claw does have kind of a hold on the Baron. I've heard that before. If he
Well, I
answers
called her-
anybody.
I called her
We're
by
gonna-
her name, and she said, no, I'm Mrs. Claw.
Mrs. Claw, is she going to be the special valet if he gets back in the ring?
Well, I'm
Well,
not sure,
I don't know if we go
but
that far.
If you think about it, there's just something about having these legends in the building. And I don't know what it is, but something
Connectivity.
always seems to happen.
It's connectivity, though. I think it keeps it all kind of into one little nice. It all works.
What are you saying?
It connects us to what we all want in professional
Lord.
wrestling.
Oh,
Well,
man.
Greg Gagne,
What?
last two times,
Got a hair up your ass.
last two
Jesus.
times we had Greg there, Lakeville,
I
and
got
can you
here,
guys
pal.
get serious here for a minute so we can
We're
put
being
over the
serious.
show?
What are you talking about,
Jeez.
hair?
Go
What
ahead.
are you two of you going out to your boss's house tonight or what?
Go ahead.
Got some
I've
chores you
got such
need
a
to do?
shot, but I'm not going to give it.
Go ahead.
We'll just sit here. I'll take
Okay,
it like
so
a man.
Greg Gagne, the last two times he was with us, he got involved.
Greg can't stay out of the ring.
I mean, he's close to my age.
I
He's
can't-
a year or two older.
How does
He's
he
not afraid
move?
to get in the mix.
He moves so well. It's unreal.
Oh, the drop kick is still tremendous.
Oh, God.
Still tremendous. So anyway, again, and we talk about Thanksgiving tradition. You mentioned that a little bit earlier on, those old shows. AWA for years and years, Thanksgiving and Christmas, the biggest nights of the year, sellouts all the time. And I don't know if I've talked about this on the show before, but one night when the WWF first invaded the Twin Cities, they ran head-to-head on Thanksgiving night. The AWA and WWE, it was like or WWF at the time. How dare you run in our
Especially on that day.
And WWF drew 14,000. The AWA drew 11,000. So you had 25,000 people on a Thanksgiving night
Watching live wrestling.
Was WWF at Met Center?
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Yep. I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't?
I was at the Civic Center.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was too.
There you go.
How about the poor people during the Weasel Suit Lights Out match that night? Was that the one where they had the closed circuit over at Roy Wilkins?
I don't.
One of
I
those
think that-
right around there. That might have been one of the follow-ups to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there were a total, I believe, of 30-some thousand
The
assembled.
Roy Wilkins thing, that was their Super Sunday show. And they had Hogan and Bockwinkel on top where they sold out the Civic Center.
Yeah.
And then they had Roy
I
Wilkins
remember
sold
that.
out.
I was in
The
the Civic
death-
Center.
The death of the American Wrestling Association was that Hogan didn't win.
That was the start of it, absolutely.
If he wins, it's probably a little different world out there.
Yep. And
Maybe the same result occurs. It's just a little slower death.
Oh, the same result was going to occur, but that's a
Slower
whole,
death.
whole different
Yeah,
topic.
I think we all know that. Let's go to one of the funniest moments that occurred during the 22nd match in September. It involved our very own play-by-play guy, Slick Mick Karch. We had the whole prayer thing, the carpet deal between Daivari and Cabana. I mean,
Wait a minute. He's
oh, there
chewing
goes
his
the ice.
again.
He
Here
brought
we
the
go
ice
again.
out for this one.
Santa Claus
You
is
guys,
on the roof again.
It kind of came down to this for me. I think the thing that was I've watched it, I've observed it, and I don't even know if we can put the jihad. I don't even know if we can put this up online because somebody's gonna get hurt. I mean, it's just like I can see someone being offended by this one, the way they worked it.
Oh, I gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Going back and forth.
Oh, well, it's almost mock. Whatever. Okay, so I see. I'm so scared I won't even go down that road.
Okay.
But anyway, they're back and forth with the rugs, and then why don't we pick it up where you what you were thinking.
Well, Arya Davari came out with his prayer rug, that he uses for his prayer ritual at the beginning of the match, and then, at the end he takes it on the magic carpet, right? So I don't know how sacrilegious we're being. The guy uses it as a weapon. But Colt Cabana had a rug of his own, and you had the two guys going back and forth, praying to whoever they pray to, and when you have these thick headsets on, which are the size of, I don't know, like
catcher's mitts.
Yes, good call.
You don't know how loud or how not loud the audience is at any given moment.
You were bellowing.
I was bellowing in my typical announcing voice.
You brought it.
And well, apparently at that moment the crowd was being respectful of the prayer ritual that was going on.
No, I would say quite the contrary.
No, they weren't.
They were in awe of what was happening.
Oh, that might be it.
They were more watching this thing going, what's going to happen next?
It was probably...
And it was like a back and forth. And
but it was quiet in the building.
It was. You could hear a pin drop.
You could hear a pin drop, or as they say, a wet popcorn fart. You could have heard that from 50 paces.
That was actually me. But anyway.
But... And again, thinking that the crowd was in an uproar at that time, watching this back and forth tete-a-tete, as they say,
yeah.
Yours truly says something to the effect of, well, if I know promoter Ed Hellier, he's going to book the first ever rug match.
And
there was nobody saying anything.
Okay, so now I'm going to give you my perspective. So now I hear that, and it literally echoes.
Horse laugh.
It echoes from pillar to post. I mean... Yeah. And it was like the two guys in the ring clearly heard it.
Oh, they did, yeah.
And I'm sure they had a key from cracking up at you because it was just so outrageous. And then we've got John between you and and then I start to laugh. I go, give me one of those, And then you could feel this, like, rippling laughter, kind of like it started by us around the announce table. It just sort of flowed around the ring. It was unbelievable. And you pick up going, why are they all laughing?
I couldn't figure it out because, I mean...
They're laughing at you.
I mean, I've been talking at the same, outrageous level all night long, and then I'm looking at the ringsiders and everybody is laughing. I think, well, there's no way you could have heard me say something like that because you're all in an uproar. Well, I pulled the headset off, at least one ear part, and all I heard was laughter. I didn't hear anything else. So I realized, and I think I had actually followed up, didn't I, by saying, Hellier, anything to make a dime.
Yeah.
And,
and I'm over there tipping over my seat just going,
and I've always been one who says, you never announce so loud that the crowd can hear you because that will detract from the match.
Yeah. Well, let's say, but you know what? That really added to the match in that case because I thought their dialogue was great, and the best part is when Arya Davari was speaking in Farsi, and then I don't know, there's some back and forth, and then obviously in his crystal clear English, he looks right over at Cabana and said, "Asshole."
I picked up on that.
And then Cabana goes, "Oh, you speak a little English," and then he puts his two fingers together. He goes, "A little bit."
Yeah. Did you notice that when he said "asshole"? You and Ed and I all raised our hands.
Yeah, I said, "What can we do for you?
Can we help you?" Oh,
yes,
man.
sir.
All right. How long have we been doing this?
This show?
Yeah, tonight.
25 minutes. We got 5 more minutes.
We got 5 more minutes.
All right.
Let's talk about trivia. Trivia is going to be back up and running. But I know the architect doesn't want to give any more tickets away, so I'm going to go into my personal stash of wrestling memorabilia, of which I have
flare belt.
I have flare belt's not going. Of which I recently obtained a humongous amount of old wrestling memorabilia through hook and by crook. So I'm going to put together a memorabilia package of programs and pictures and yada yada for whoever comes up with the trivia answers.
Okay, great. So then our next
we'll
show,
start giving tickets closer to the show.
Okay.
On our next show,
we want to keep people doing it.
By our next show,
trivia.
Absolutely.
I
think
know
it's
what you're
great.
talking about.
By our next show, we'll have that posted. We've been getting age spots waiting for your next column. When's that coming?
I don't think you want to go there in terms of when we're going to do stuff, how late, and all that.
Would you have Tommy John surgery here?
Don't worry about Tommy John, and don't start in with how I got this injury either.
I'll leave that to the viewers and listeners' imagination. I'm sure we all have a pretty good idea why your elbow is in a sling.
Hey, I'm good to go. That's what I got you around
from
for.
something.
So anyway, other than that,
Ed's just going, "Oh, this is off the rails."
So what? Just real quickly, I decided I want to touch on this.
Okay.
For the last couple of minutes, But this is another topic for another show, but I'm going to tease it because I want to just throw this out there. On the independent level, if you're a professional wrestler, referee, or announcer, and you're not under contract to somebody, and you have an opportunity to work for promoter B down the street, if promoter A has a personal beef with promoter B, promoter A should not tell you under any conditions, you work for promoter B because I don't like him, you're never going to work in this business again, or you're certainly not going to work for us. These are independent contractors. Wrestlers have the right to go out and make a living. Nobody's getting rich at this level. At the very best, most of these guys are making meal money and trans money on any given show. Let them work for who they want to work for.
This is the internet. I'm going to say it. The wrestler should be respected. They don't need to be in the middle of bullshit like that. That's a fact.
One thing that I would add, and I know that Ed will go along with this, and I really would like to pick this up on another day because it's a pretty interesting topic. The flip side of that, though, is if you're going to work for $20 for wrestler C, then don't try to hold up wrestler D for $100. You've already established what you will work for.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes both ways.
Sure.
No, I agree. I think I'm fair. I pay the guys what I'm telling them I'm going to pay them, and I know for a fact in most cases they get a bigger payoff from me than other promoters, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to knock the price down. Pretty much everybody gets the same dollar amount. I mean, if we have to bring somebody in, of course they're going to get paid more because they're traveling from California or Canada or wherever the hell it is.
You know what? Back in the day, in the old
but if you check with all the guys, they're getting the same money.
Of course they are. And back in the old AWA
now,
days, just
Karch, you on the other hand, you get 5 times X, but you're a talent.
X equals 0.
Yeah,
Because that's why you are who you are.
Yeah, don't blame that. What I was going to say is back in the day when Vern Gagne would appear on a card, especially towards the end of his career, they would jack up the ticket prices about $5-10 across the board just because Vern was on the show. Did you know that? Did Vern would do that
For himself?
Certainly.
Guess
not
what?
for Marty Miller.
guess what? They paid
They
too.
sure
Yep.
did. Absolutely.
And they'd sell it out.
Yeah.
But that's, I just wanted to touch on that because it's been kind of a Facebook thing that's been going back and forth this week. That social media, that devilish social media.
Do you
but
really
I would
think
like
it's devilish? Though, it can be when you get into the inner workings of those types of things, but it can be really great too on the same token.
Oh, and I've said that too on Facebook. You would not believe the backstage politicking and how bad it can get, but when it all comes together, and Ed and I have had those nights where the crowd is absolutely blistering and they're into everything and the talent is working on all cylinders, you leave that building that night and you're thinking, this is what it's all about.
What type of crowd are we going to expect to draw at the South St. Paul card?
Well, our fans will be there. I think there'll be more people that are there to support the fundraiser than are, really wrestling fans. But I think it's going to be like Hopkins for sure.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I know I've got a dozen that couldn't make this one, or a couple that were there, but at least a dozen that'll be in the house. So friends of mine that loved the Hopkins show. That card was outstanding. All 3 have been great. Can't wait to put 4 under the belt. We're going to keep these matches coming for you. So our next one out of the box here will be the tag team match with the Junk Squad. How about that dance they do at the end of the match? I mean, I'm okay with it, but it's just awful.
I didn't look
and the
at it. I know
Randy
you
D,
did.
Ben Saylor deal.
Yeah, Rennie D and Ben Saylor will be terrific. Rennie D walking out on Ben Saylor, surprising everybody apparently. Ben Saylor made a move, botched a move a little bit. Rennie D didn't like it and left his partner high and dry.
Expecting perfection.
Right. So it's going to be that'll be a great matchup, no question about it. The whole thing, top to bottom, really good. Real quick, I just want to throw out this is for the old time wrestling fans. A guy by the name of Eric Pomeroy passed away just the other day, and even if you're an old-time fan, if you're not into the business, you don't know who he was. He actually wrestled as one of the Vachon brothers at one point with Paul and Maurice Mad Dog. He wrestled as Stan Vachon. He wrestled here in the Twin Cities as Sergei Pulaski, called himself the Mad Russian. Veteran guy, probably 30 years in the business, big mainstay in the Central States area. 79 years old, great guy. Saw him a couple of years ago at Cauliflower Alley. So another one of the old guard, but Heaven's getting pretty crowded. They got a hell of a card up there.
Well, Wally's booking him.
Wally's booking them, and when he sees Sergey, Stan Plasky, Eric Pomeroy, I'm sure they'll tip a few. But again,
how much you want to bet he's shorting them in the payoffs up there too?
I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what's going to happen? How much you want to bet he's going to be back to address me on that comment at the next podcast? I got a feeling.
I was just going to say,
word carries.
Where is he now? I mean, I can't believe that's going unscathed.
Yep.
I promise you, wherever he is, Wally will get word of that. The internet travels a long way. And
I thought he was straight pipeline.
Well, that too. Oh, geez.
He just gave me the big boot. He went Hogan on me.
And you sold it too. That's
I know.
Good. But Wally will take care of you.
I'm sure he will.
He'll even it up.
I think we had to take it home.
Let's bring it home, boys.
Close the grill.
Great one. Again, don't forget, tickets on sale at the door at South St. Paul. How about if you want to get them in advance?
We'll have information on that. I don't have it
just
yet.
on the website. Okay.
I mean, if you contact the South St. Paul High School, they probably can tell you. I don't have advanced ticket info yet, but you'll be able to get them at the door.
We'll post that card up on the website as well. We'll also have this show with a couple of great matches, some interviews, and much more coming up on SteelTheMainWrestling.com. At Hellier, Mick Karch, Jen Fritz, thank you very much for taking a time out of your busy Sunday night to make this thing happen. Appreciate your flexibility in scheduling, too. The boss isn't here, so it all works out. I'm Pete Waggoner. Have a great night. So long, everybody.